Hey folks, Stronghold Crafter Kev here with another video. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to part 4 of my work in progress of the gate tower. And I like to say it's coming along nicely. I've got the tower fully assembled with the roof, and everything is pretty much working the way I want it to. I also like to say that in this video I'm going to focus a little bit more on the tools that I use for the crafting part, because I love the tools. They're mostly by the Hotwire Foam Factory. They have their own websites, and I just can't say much about them. They're great. So if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. There's a lot more coming to the channel. I wouldn't want you to miss out. This is just another building block with what I have to do with designing a castle in the future. So other than that, thanks for watching. For more information on my craft, visit my website, which is strongholdsoffantasy.com, and I'll see you in a bit. Hey folks, welcome to part 4 of my work in progress of the gate tower. And as you can see here, I have completed the assembly part of the roof, and I'll go into more detail about that. I've also did a base coat of black over pretty much the entire thing. So just to get it in the camera here. This is not the final painting, of course. I'm thinking about, now that I look at it, it seems a little bit too dark for contrast. I may have to lighten it up with some type of brown shade for the portcullis. It's supposed to be actual a wooden color, but because it is wood, so that's just a mixture of black and black paint. This stuff, Artist Loft, Flow Acrylic Paint, black with mixed in with some water because so it would flow better, and it's a little bit watered down. So if you could actually see a little bit closer here, you could actually pick out some of the wood grains and stuff, but I'm not going to really center too much on that. The roof, which I said is meant to be removable, and I will actually... Well, actually it turned out pretty good. That's all base coat of black before I do the final coat. And what I was striving for, which is totally on there, I wanted to go for a seamless look. I think I pretty much accomplished that. Some of the areas are going to have to be touched up, of course, but this is, like I said, not the final coat. And without further ado, we'll go to the roof here, since it'd just be easier to do this. I went for mostly a tile type of roof covering here, and this is going to be actually a hatch here. Now, when I did this initially, I made some slots here on the previous video for the portcullis to slide up to, and it was too high, so I actually had to shave down the portcullis by a little bit, and that's what I did. I can't really show that, and Jack, you are too close to the light. You're interfering with my presentation here. Good boy. Okay. Anyway, it's hard to see a lot of detail here because it's all black, but basically I added a ledge in here to cover up the slots that were showing up on the roof. And now the room of the for the portcullis to slide up into the roof fits, so all I had to do is put after cutting off a section of the portcullis, I was still able to get it to where it's sliding freely and it's not interfering with the function of it all. So now the portcullis is actually free from the window. Before, it was actually sticking up above that, if you look at the previous video. And I don't think I can do this in camera view unless I move it back a little bit. I'll show you. Voila! Whole thing comes off. And as you saw before, we have this in here. That didn't change. So, and you can see this just basically fits into the center of it. So I didn't paint everything. And you can also see here, this is the part where it joins virtually seamless with the top back here. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I kind of wondered about, okay, how am I going to put this on here and put it on here the right way, because it was only made to go on one way. Well, I kind of solved that problem initially when I had a little accident with the hot wire tool. You can't really see it too well here, but I actually hit a little notch here on the one side, and it lines up. It happens to be in the front face, so it'll show up more when I paint it again, and it'll be, you can just call it battle damage for all that matters. I had to do a lot of touch-up overall with painting this again, and I thought since I've got some time, I'm going to go through the tools that I used on this project. So bear with me and we will go to the next part. Hold on. Alright, what you're looking at here is the Hotwire Foam Factory's 3D scrolling table. This is a very versatile tool. It allows you to cut various shapes. It has a fence kit, so with this hot wire here, you basically measure off where you want the fence to be, and you just slide it on the fence part here, and you get some pretty good cuts. You do get some what I call, I got this from another crafter, angel hairs, which you can easily scrape off with some sandpaper or file. Yes. Usually I use like some kind of small file. It doesn't matter. I don't like sandpaper too much because sandpaper wears out, but files, usually last forever, so that's why I usually use that. Okay, and we'll go on to the next tool. Hold on. Okay, this is the freehand router from the Hotwire Foam Factory, which comes with these blades, which you can customize and shape in different lengths and so. And what's nice is it also I also bought the additional piece, which is the there we go, the sled, which can be used with a number of the handheld tools, which holds it in place at a certain height, so that you can just basically slide the stuff across stuff. It's great for carving out channels, like for like a riverbed or something, or if you just want to do some controlled depths. In this case, I'll bring back the model here. I usually use it for stuff like carving out doorways. I'm going to cover up with doors. I also used it for carving out this part here, which is great. And depending on the shape, I actually use this for multiple parts. Depending on what area I'm using it for. If you need to do... okay, I think I'm going to take this off, and because I don't need that now. Okay. Crenellations here. This is unscripted, of course. Alright. All these... angled cuts I did with the freehand router, which made it so much easier than trying to just use a hot knife. And these sloping cuts here. I also used a pre-in router for. And then anything that was a little bit rough, I just took my file and just filed it down. Quick and easy. Once you get a feel for it. Okay. Now I'll move on to the next tool. Okay. The next tool I want to show that I was using was the Hotwire Foam Factory engraver, which is it's like a hot knife, but it's because of the heat sink, it is controlled under a lower temperature, so you don't melt through the foam like you're going to cut it, and you can engrave all kinds of lines. And just to give an example here, here's a test piece I did where I was just engraving the blocks, and now the stairs here, that was done with the 3D scrolling table. And then I just filed in the steps to make them nice and sharp. But yeah, all the blocks on this tower were done like that. All these grooves. And it also comes in handy when you want to actually cut something out like this. You can do a starting point where you just cut out, you just carve the lines first, and then you have a starting point before you even take the router and cut that out. Very handy. Alright, we'll go on to the next part. Hold on. Alright. This is a hot knife tool, or heated wand, some people call it. You can get this at a craft store like Michael's. It's one of the few hot wire tools I have that's not from the Hotwire Foam Factory. And this one's good for, doing simple cuts, small areas. And I use this for cutting out the arrow slots. It's a little crude, but I'm not trying to get precise, small, precision cuts in such a small area anyway, so it works for what I need. That's all I can really say about that. The only problem is I cannot control the temperature on this thing. This thing is just a simple plug-in jack, so you get what you pay for. Cheap, but very limited with what it can do temperature-wise. So, like I said, I've got to do some more base coating on this, and the doors will come next. And this thing will be done. So, hold on a sec here. And there he is, Jack the Scourge, on my improvised extra light stand. Hey Jack, say hi to the camera. It's like, no, I'm being shy. Alright. So, anyway, thanks for watching. And that's it.